Ivan Jones. I am the owner of Inked Up Custom Designs LLC here in Atlanta. I'm a native of Birmingham, Alabama. I moved to Atlanta in 2013, and I am a full-time entrepreneur. I moved to Atlanta in October of 13, honestly, for a job. I was a teacher, and I was teaching in Birmingham, and they had major layoffs, and I was new. And of course, the newbies are usually the first ones to go. And I was in that cut. And even when the fall semester started back, they didn't have anything for me. So I ended up, one of my frat brothers told me about a position here in Atlanta, Clayton County specifically. And I came over for the interview and got the job. And I've been here ever since. That was October of 2013. And that's what got me here. Being an entrepreneur is actually what kept me here. And my goal was to be a principal or to go into that leadership role, but as time went on, I was just like, I'm good. I'm gonna try something else. So as I mentioned, I was a classroom teacher, right? And so I wanted more out of life, even though I knew education didn't pay the most, but I kind of felt that I would have some type of way to kind of, enhance kids' lives in ways that were not so traditional. And once I kind of got deep into teaching, I did teaching for 6 years. Once I got deep into it, I was like, I can't do this for 25, 30 years. This is not gonna cut it. And so I had to make some changes. It was funny, I was designing logos and certain things for people, and I never knew how to print a shirt. I created a logo for Homecoming in 2015. It pretty much said, "Long live thy fame." And it was something I had no idea of how to put on a shirt. It was just a profile picture to, honor Homecoming. And I pretty much found out how to, do some contract printing with a company here in Atlanta. And I realized that, I'm giving these people a lot of my money. I need to find out how to print these shirts myself, While I was teaching at the same time. So, it's not like I had, at that time, I didn't have time to just stop what I was doing to print full time. But I kind of knew that this was going to be, or could be, something big that could come out of it. And I kind of wanted to be prepared, Becoming a full-time entrepreneur was scary, honestly. I left teaching back in 2016, actually, for the very first time. And I was gone only for a semester. It was very tough, honestly. I had one big order, and I guess at that time I was just thinking, I can get this one big order. It was lit. I had my heat press. I had everything going. I just knew the orders was gonna come in, and it didn't. And I had to get to Lyft and Uber and all these other little, hustles that people do here in Atlanta to really make ends meet. So I had to suck up my pride and go back to the classroom in the fall of 2016. And I was in APS. And honestly, I literally spent that year, 2016, 2017, I spent that school year educating myself, finding out how in the hell can I make this happen this time around and not look back, right? So I had a little situation happen when I was teaching in 2017, the spring of 2017, and I'll be honest with you, that really sealed the deal for me that this education thing wasn't for me. By that time, I was prepared. I had clientele that I was building up, and I just had a bigger outlook on this whole entrepreneurship thing when I left the second time, right? So everyone's not gonna get it the first time. It's okay if you fail and have to suck up your pride and, you look like, you failed to certain people looking on the outside looking in, who's on the outside looking in, but, you have to do what's best for you, and those experiences mold you and make you the person you are going to be if you're not there yet. So sometimes I confuse people a little bit on social media, and I do my best not to, but I actually have a business and I have a brand. So my business is called Inked Up Custom Designs LLC. That is what is registered through the state of Georgia. The whole LLC, business license, the whole 9 yards. I create custom screen printed gear for pretty much anybody, but I specialize in schools, groups, organizations, and other businesses. But of course, if you have families and class reunions and etc., I'll take orders based on that as well, of what's requested. But my brand is All This Favor. So All This Favor is an empowerment brand that I started actually in 2017. It started out as my favorite shirts. And my favorite shirts, we produced this shirt that pretty much said Saved AF and had and favored under the AF. Of course, a lot of people, it went viral actually. That was my first time ever getting a lot of attention, from a lot of people. It was a crazy, because I got a lot of good feedback, got a lot of bad feedback as well. But I was a little nervous because I didn't plan to have to defend my design. I just kind of wanted to put something out there that I felt was creative and could change the thought process of how we try to box words or phrases in, at that time. Now in 2020, I've pretty much rebranded the whole organization, and it's called All This Favor. And so our goal is to empower people to realize the favor on their life. So many times we get so depressed and frustrated, but forget the things that God has done for us and act as if, He's just forgotten about us. But, favor is on your life. And my goal through my brand is to empower people to acknowledge that. Any new entrepreneur, listen, I would advise you to, one, do your research, because that's one thing I kind of lacked. I did a little research, but I didn't really research this industry I'm in. And I feel like if I would have spent a little bit more time researching on the first try, initially when I left education the first time, I probably would have had to go back. Always believe in yourself. I was in a relationship when I started my business, and my partner at the time, I didn't feel like they believed in me. It was something that was just helping paying the bills at the time, and I kind of had my print stuff all over the place. And I'm not gonna lie, there were times where it kind of got a little, shirts everywhere, vinyl everywhere, but I saw the bigger picture. I saw that this was gonna be something that was gonna outlive me, but my partner didn't. So, you have to make sure that you believe in yourself. Most of the people who you start your journey with, if they're negative about it from the beginning, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be friends with them long. I am a proud HBCU graduate. I attended Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University in Normal, Alabama. Class of 2011, I was a music education major. I also attended Boston University. Got my master's in music education from there as well in 2015. I always push people to do what's best for what they want to do in life, right? For what I'm doing right now, being this entrepreneur, screen printing, consulting, helping new businesses, I don't feel like I had to go to college for that. Granted, I wouldn't, exchange my experiences that I had at A&M in Boston for anything in the world. But when you just kind of look at life from another perspective, I didn't really need to go to school. But of course, it's shoved down our throats. Go to college, get degrees, get a job. And once I had those things, I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't, and there were a lot of times I had moments where I felt like I could have majored in something else, or I could have, added a concentration to my degrees. But, 18, 19, 20-year-old, most of us didn't know what the hell we wanted to do. A lot of people followed majors because they paid so much money. Or at least they told, it was said that most of their graduates make a certain amount of money, and once they actually got into the courses, they didn't want to deal with it because they didn't want to deal with a lot of math or science or whatever it took to actually get to that. So, I did my best to find a major that I wanted to do, which education I feel is my passion. I just think it's so, political, like everything else. But education is so political that I was just like, you know what, I'm good. And I went through that phase of feeling like a failure. I felt like, damn, I majored in education. I got 2 degrees. You know, I was a little peer pressured by some peers to go get that PhD or that EDD, but I was just like, this ain't for me, you know? I saw something else. I'm still seeing things that a lot of other people don't see, but it's, you know, it's all about your vision. It's all about what you feel is best for you in that moment. Live in the moment. Plan things out, but live in the moment. Because living in the moment is really what takes you to the next moment. Because if you're so busy planning ahead every second, everything that happens, or trying to plan out everything that happens, you know, you're gonna kind of get a little closed-minded and stuck and only be only geared to just that, right? And the goal is to be able to be versatile and be able to do things even if you have no experience in it, learn it, you know? It kind of takes you to the next level. So I think that's an important thing. I recommend people to go to college if you need it. You know, if it's a field that you desire, that you feel is going to, that is needed. Like for instance, doctors, nurses, people in certain fields like that, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to you if you don't have a degree. So if it's specialty like that, I get it. But you know, a lot of people end up not using their degrees. It just wows me how, you know, we have passions, we have dreams, but no one is talking about entrepreneurship as much. Let me be specific, in the Black community. You know, I think this generation coming up now will have a little bit more exposure to it because you see more entrepreneurs now because we're in this whole digital world that, you know, kids who are 15, 16, 17-year-olds can have access to see things that us 30 and 31, 32-year-olds can see as well. And they see that momentum when they're younger. So they may kind of get a little motivated from that. So I will say, I think the next generation, there'll probably be a little bit more entrepreneurs, or at least who will be exposed to it, so they won't think that college is the only way. But when it's time to put your big boy drawers on and your big girl drawers on, it's all about what's bringing in the money and what's making you happy. What's making you happy at night? What's making you sleep well? What's making you grow as a person, as a spouse if you get married, as a parent if you have children? That's what it's about.